and welcome to Live in the Solution. I'm your astrologer and tarot card reader, here with your readings for November the 11th through November the 17th. If you're new, welcome. I really hope you enjoy these readings and that you'll come back. And if you are returning, thank you so much for your loyalty and your support. I really appreciate you. Thank you for your likes, comments, shares, and for all the new subscribers too. Now, these are general readings, guys. They are for the collective. So please take what resonates and leave the rest. They come in 3 sections. The intro, which is this, the astrological report, and then the tarot reading. And there are timestamps below in the show more section. If you have a phone, it's a little arrow pointing down, click on that and all the information is in there. It's also for your sun, moon and rising, so you will find the links to the other videos in that section too. So listen, as I said before, it's for the collective, these readings. So if you would like a more tailored, in-depth, personalized reading, please click on this link here, which will take you to my website and you can look at the kind of readings that I offer. What else? Yes, I have a Facebook group, guys, and that Facebook group, it's a private group. You have to ask to be to get in, to be included, and that link is below too. Now, in that Facebook group, it's a really positive environment. People post positive things, and then every 2 weeks I do a live feed specifically for my Facebook group, and in that it correlates every 2 weeks. It correlates with the new moon and the full moon, and we look at how anybody who attends the live feed, we look at their horoscope and how they're receiving the energies from the new moon or the full moon respectively. And I also have tarot cards on hand and I answer questions. We hang out for about an hour and we really enjoy ourselves. So if you would like that, this link to that will be below also, so check that out. And another way to support this channel and my creative content is through Patreon. So you can click on that just to check out my Patreon page. I do post things on Patreon that I don't post anywhere else. And I want to take this opportunity to really thank my patrons. Thank you so much. You really help me out. So I really appreciate you. Now, what else? Yes, let's go to the astrology report, shall we? Hello and welcome to the astrology section of your reading for November the 11th through November the 17th. And wow, that's all I can say. Listen, the full moon in Taurus on Tuesday is only the tip of the iceberg. We have all this dynamic celestial sky this week. Some really wonderful aspects are happening this week. Now, I'll start with some of the exact aspects and when they're happening, and then I'll go on to what's going on with the full moon. So Monday, November the 11th, the sun is conjunct Mercury. That means it's right next to Mercury, right? Very close. Tuesday, we have the full moon in Taurus, and we have Mars sextile Jupiter. That's a beautiful harmonious aspect going on there. Wednesday the 13th, we have Mercury trine Neptune. That's also a lovely harmonious connection between the two planets. And Thursday, November the 14th, Venus is square Neptune. That is a challenging aspect. We also have other energies and aspects that are moving into place or moving out of place. So they all play a role actually in the celestial sky. So let's start with the full moon in Taurus, shall we? The full moon, as most of you know, is when the moon is opposite the sun, and it's actually the sun's reflection that illuminates the moon. So with the moon in Taurus, and that means with the moon in Taurus, the sun is in Scorpio because they're opposite each other on the wheel, right, in the chart. The moon is exalted in Taurus, which means that it can express itself fully. So the moon is nurturing, magnetic, feminine. And in Taurus, the moon is good-natured, generous, and loyal. There's a tendency for being emotionally connected to one's values and material possessions, and a strong need for security, right? Material security. At the same time as this full moon, the moon is in a harmonious aspect to Pluto. Now, this creates an energy of sensitivity and intense emotional feelings. It's a being absorbed with interpersonal relationships, of being coveted over one's emotions and feelings. We want to kind of hide that. We don't want that out in the open. At the same time, I am displaying the chart of the full moon, so maybe you can follow along with some of the things that I'm saying, and you can get a picture of what's going on too. For those of you who understand charts. Now, so it brings in intuition and psychic ability. The moon's relationship with Pluto, and it can give you a strong look. It's being able to read people and recognize inauthenticity. We can see through people. We know when someone's not being authentic. And it can give you a strong will and focus to accomplish goals with which to manifest your dreams. This is like a dream creating full moon, right? We can create our dreams. We can manifest our dreams. We can make them real. It can also bring up control issues. So we need to be mindful of the urge to control situations and or people. It can be expressed through us being a bit bossy, perhaps, during this transit. It is also worth mentioning that the moon at the same time is kind of in a loose, harmonious aspect with Neptune, which further enhances our psychic and intuitive abilities. It can also give us a really deep appreciation for music, art, and nature. We also need to be mindful not to sacrifice ourselves for others, and keep a firm grip on reality, because Neptune can skew our perceptions of what's really going on. However, Saturn is connecting harmoniously to Neptune and to the moon, so there is some structure and discipline to bring ideas into tangible creations. So we just want to make sure that we're not compromising ourselves for others. And if we focus on our creativity, we can really bring things to life. Now, the sun in Scorpio is right next to Mercury, which brings in creative thinking and energetic communication with a bigger picture view. So because Mercury is still in retrograde, there can be some misunderstandings, but they can easily be rectified because of all these positive, wonderful aspects that are going on. Now, the Sun and Mercury have also have a harmonious connection to Pluto and Saturn, somewhat to a bit lesser of a degree, which brings in the need to be recognized for one's accomplishments, for being in the spotlight. And the concentration is on speech and communications, yet again. So this sets the stage for shrewdness in business and negotiations. Now, that's a wonderful aspect. And then listen, that's not all. The Sun and Mercury are also harmoniously connected to Neptune, bringing in creative and visionary talents. So it's amazing for literary accomplishments, particularly writing, fantasy, poetry, or even in the visual arts. Any creative project will, take off and will really work. So now also, I'm finished yet, guys. Mars is sextile Jupiter. Now, this is a wonderful, confident energy, abundant energy. It's like we're energized, right? Feeling really excited and confident about ourselves and really good luck in materialism with a penchant for higher learning or spiritual studies in alignment, perhaps. And long distance travel is also on the table with this aspect. Perhaps you're going on a long trip or you're planning one. You may be contemplating a spiritual retreat even in a remote location. So an optimistic nature with a love of freedom and independence is the underlying beautiful energy of that aspect. Now, then on Thursday, we move into Venus square Neptune, but all these aspects are kind of happening all week simultaneously, right? So it's kind of a big mishmash. You have to kind of choose you have the power to choose your energy and how you want to direct it. Now, Venus is square Neptune, and that's a challenging aspect. It brings in issues of self-esteem, confidence, and insecurities. So if you have a poor self-image during this transit, you may have a distorted view of your partner or your date if it's a new, or your acquaintance if it's a new relationship. You may see relationships in an odd way. Perhaps you have an idealistic romantic storybook vision of relationships, which can lead you to ignore red flags when you meet someone new. You could get taken advantage of, become a doormat in a relationship. If the relationship is rocky already, if it's on firm ground, I think you'll be able to move through this aspect pretty unscathed. But if it's new and it's a bit rocky, then, you could kind of, become the doormat, or worse, allow inappropriate behavior in some way. It's important to practice acceptance and the love of oneself during this time, and I would look at this aspect also creates a heightened need for love and affection. So I would resist the urge to commit or to trust someone until after this transit. Focus instead on building self-esteem and self-respect and confidence. All right, guys. So I told you that's like major this week, right? So without further ado, let's go to your tarot reading, shall we? Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your reading, the tarot card section of your reading for November the 11th. 11th through the 17th. One last shuffle for Gemini. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Gemini for this coming week? Fill these cards with love, abundance, and hope. Love, abundance, and hope, yeah? Okay, 3 cards for Gemini, please. 3 cards for Gemini. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you get? 1, 2, oh! 1 more card for Gemini, please. 1 more card for Gemini. There it is, darling. There we go. Lovely. That was the first and that was the second, right? Ah, there's crossover already. Ah. Okay, now this is for Gemini. These are clarifying cards for Gemini. This is the last shuffle for your benefit. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Gemini through these clarifying cards? for the week of November the 11th through the 17th. Please clarify. Oh, there we are. Please clarify. Oh, there's two there. Very interesting. Ha! And royalty, darling. That's what I'm going to say, royalty. A lot of royalty going on for you. Please clarify. There she is. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at your card, shall we? Gemini. Okay. The first card up for you is the hanging man, it says in this, here we go, in this deck. Clarified by the Star card. And then you have the Knight of the Knight of Cups. I always think it's the Knight of Wands because of the color, but it's the Knight of Cups. Clarified by the King of Cups and the Queen of Swords. That's what I'm talking about. Royalty, and here we go again. Another queen, a Queen of Pentacles, clarified by the Eight of Cups. Very, very interesting, I must say. Okay. So the first card out is the Hanging Man. And the Hanging Man is like a pause in action, right? He's hanging from the tree of life. You know, he's almost like he's sacrificed himself for the greater good of everyone. And he's there hanging about. He's got nothing else to do, you know, hanging from his feet. He's not in pain. It's like he's in a yoga pose. And he's looking at a situation from a different perspective. And this is what you're being asked to do. So something may be going on in your life and you may not be feeling that great about it, or you may have a fixed idea of or a judgment on it. So you're being asked to open up your mind and look at the possibilities. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. You know, imagine yourself as somebody else going through this. Perhaps the person you feel trespassed against you or something. I don't know what the situation is, but it is telling you to take another look at this situation with fresh eyes and from a different point of view. And clarifying the Hanging Man is the Star card. So this is saying, this is the card of hope. And I prayed for hope, didn't I? Over your cards. This is a healing. I feel that when you look at the situation, whatever it is that's happening in your life right now, from a different perspective and a different point of view, a deep healing will come in. Because the Star card is a healing card. It heals you spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And it actually spreads light where there was once darkness. You will see a path forward once you take a look at it from a different perspective. The starlight puts light where there was once darkness and illuminates the path forward. So you will see the way to go. Now, the next card out for you is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is the gift of love, right? You know, this can be a gallant your knight in shining armor coming in, sweeping you off your feet. It can be that kind of a love. But it can also be the gift of intuition and psychic ability. And it can be both. You'll be able to see this person. Now you've got the King of Cups. I feel that you could meet somebody, or you have met someone recently, and because the King of Cups is clarifying this lovely knight, this gallant knight in shining armor. You see, knight energy is all about movement. It's fast movement, but it's not, what do I want to say? It doesn't have much staying power. It kind of comes in, sweeps you off your feet, and then kind of exits stage right or stage left, wherever you are. So the king is the king, when the king comes at the king of cups comes into a reading, you're being asked to I'm getting put a lid on it. So what I mean there, it's like, don't allow all your emotions and, fall into the deep end. I'm in love. This is it. This is the one. I'm going to sacrifice myself, him or her. This is, the love of my life, because this can feel like it, right? So the King of Cups, he's like an incredible leader, but he kind of, and he's got a deep well of emotions, but he controls his emotions. He suppresses his emotions because he feels that he can't be a good leader if he doesn't remain stoic. So it's not that you have to remain stoic per se, but you do have to put a lid on it. So don't go all out. Take your time. Don't completely commit or trust someone if they come into your life at this time. Just take it easy, take it slow. And you have the Queen of Swords, right? Also, so you've got the King and Queen. The King of Cups, who's the counselor. Always got an ear there for you. He's always available, but he's a good counselor because he sees every side and he doesn't allow his emotions to take over. And I'm getting the Queen of Swords is this incredible deal maker. She's a businesswoman. She's very attractive. She's very magnetic, and she's completely intelligent, cerebral. So everyone's, attracted to her. She has all these men at her feet. They don't stay very long, right? And I think that that's the message. This might not be a lasting love, is what I'm getting. Enjoy it while it is, but don't allow yourself to be vulnerable just yet, because this may not be around a long time, may not. But I always think of nights as when you try to kind of contain them or own them, or, put any kind of restrictions on them. They're gone. They need to be free, and because they have a lot to do. They've got to save the kingdom. They're in service to the king. They've got lots of damsels in distress to save. They've got to fight for liberty, and and they're gallant, and they've got, they're loyal to their king. So the Queen of Swords can, also, she's also a little reminder to be very kind in your language, because she's honest. She's so honest that it's, she can be brutally honest. It's a bit cutting at times. So you have to soften your language, soften your tongue, make sure that you're not saying things that are offending people. We all do it sometimes, inadvertently. So we have to be aware of that. We've got to, try to think before we speak. But definitely keep it a little slow, okay? Wait for the feelings to unfold on the other person before you dive in the deep end. Yes, it's nice to be excited, get excited, but don't go over the top, right? Control and restrict some of your feelings. Now you have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles is like the mistress of materialism. She loves opulence. Look, she's got a big peacock here. She's surrounded. She's got gold pillars. She's got a big gold coin. She is just decked out in opulence. But she works really hard. She's a deal maker. So I feel that you're probably at a stage in your life, Gemini, that you have worked very hard and accumulated some wealth, and you've been very good at that. And you're kind of a bit comfortable right now. But there's some kind of feeling of disillusionment, maybe, of not being satisfied with what you have. You want something with a little more meaning. You want you're craving for that kind of spirituality or something that's going to make sense of everything that you've accumulated, because it's not filling the void that you thought it would. So now you've accumulated what you thought would give you happiness, and it hasn't. And you know that there's something more to life, there's something more meaningful. So when this Eight of Cups comes into the picture, he seems to be walking away from his material wealth. It's like that feeling of just wanting to walk away. Now, this can be walking away from a deal. It can be you wanting to walk away from a job. It can be you wanting to walk away and just forget everything and just start afresh, but go off to a monastery, perhaps, or become a monk or something. I mean, it might not be that drastic, but sometimes this is saying seek out a spiritual mentor, and perhaps learn something, follow someone that's, spiritual, and that can give you some guidance spiritually and bring in more meaning into your life. Yes, you've accumulated this wealth and you've worked very hard. But you know that there's more to life than that. Life, money can't buy you happiness, and it can't buy you love, and it can't buy you lots of things. I mean, it can buy lots of things too. Money definitely has a place, and we're in this material realm. It has a place. Sometimes this can also mean wanting to walk away from your responsibilities, not feeling satisfied or sated in any way. So I would definitely say take on a course of study that's going to help you. Listen, a course in meditation is going to satisfy this too. Meditate is going to guide you. You're going to have clarity. Sometimes you have to look at what you want to walk away from. Are you shirking responsibilities? Is it just that desire to get away from everything? Maybe you just need a little respite. Maybe you need to go to the country and be surrounded in nature to get back. Maybe that's what you need, a little break before you get back in the fray, so to speak. And then, also remember to keep the higher good of everyone involved when you're making money, when you're doing these deals. Are they are they on the right side? Are they authentic? Are they for the higher good of everyone? Or are they born out of greed? Or look at what you're doing, and if you don't like the kind of deals that you're doing, then do walk away, but don't walk away from everything. Walk towards something, right? Walk towards renewable energy or something like that, something that's going to help the world or help the planet. So look for something that's going to give you that satisfaction, that's going to come from a higher place, and that is going to serve the higher good of all. Gemini, thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, social media. I'm almost at 10K, guys. Help me get over that ridge. And comment. I live for comments and feedback, and that's what I'm here for, to interact with you guys. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Mwah! I love you all, and I'll see you next week.